Magis morning, everyone! Kumusta kayong lahat? I hope you are all well and it's great to see you all here kahit virtual lang. Also, thank you for joining us in today's webinar, Text and Specs, Technical Requirement for Online Learning. I am Jackie Louwen Cestina and I am so honored to be your host dito sa first webinar in the series of ACP offerings natin ngayong semester. So yan, before we jumpstart the event, a few reminders lang. Please be reminded that you are requested to be in the Zoom room until the end of the activity. If you can turn on your cameras, please do so po. We would very much appreciate it if we'll see your magaganda and guwapo faces. Please also turn off your microphones unless told to speak para naman hindi natin ma-distract ang ating speaker and mga fellow participants. If may mga questions or comments naman kayo relative to the presentation of the speaker or the topic, please do not hesitate to type your messages on the Zoom chat. Live rin tayo sa ating official Ateneo sa YouTube channel. So sa ating mga viewers from YouTube, please feel free to participate through the comment section. I will be reading your questions and comments later sa ating open forum. Ngayon naman, here's an important reminder. To ensure na ma-receive nyo ang inyong mga e-certificates for participating in this event, please accomplish the evaluation form. We will provide the link for the form at the end of this ACP webinar and in your Google Classroom. So without further ado, may I invite everyone to settle down and feel the presence of the Lord for the opening prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Eternal Word made man, immortal love made flesh, reveals
the name of the Father, and
Good
of the
day,
Son, and of the
everyone.
Holy Spirit. Amen. So thank you so much, Sir Joseph Raburiano and the University Choir for that heartwarming prayer. Now, to formally welcome all of us in this ACP offering, we have with us the Director of the Office of Student Affairs, Mr. Rodolfo S.D. Vertus Jr.
Good day, everyone. Your Office of Student Affairs and our partners are inspired by the results of the previous semester's first ever Virtual Alternative Class Program, or ACP. Because of your presence and affirmation, we achieved an all-time high student participation and received positive feedback for the major student formation program. More students took part in multiple events more than the required. And this semester, we have continued working hard together to bring you another formative ACP experience, albeit virtually, because ACP is worth continuing, because ACP is mission driven. We have organized 24 webinars and e-workshops of varied, relevant, carefully screened topics. We have a lineup of excellent speakers who have the capacity not only to inform you of urgent and relevant issues, but also to inspire you to engage in these issues, as well as give you the necessary break from your usual academic routines. The ACP event shall hopefully be instrumental in delivering the pivotal message of the theme, Cannonballs, Firing Up Dreams, Courage, Action. With the COVID-19 crisis still lingering and social problems besieging the people and the entire nation, we still dare to dream, not only for ourselves and for our immediate families, but for the larger society. This dreaming entails discernment toward the election of decisions, not only for our personal development, but for the common good, for that which brings us closer to God. All this dreaming, discerning, and actuating such dream demand enormous courage. There is an upcoming election that will either keep the status quo or elect change in the pandemic response to health safety, vaccination, and economic recovery of people and institutions, in the treatment of human dignity and rights, in the preservation of truths, and in upholding justice and democracy, among others. And we, the Ateneans, should be at the forefront of this campaign for change. Now, may the ACP challenge all of us, especially you, our dear students, to dream and to do so collectively for the good of the country, to have courage and to draw strength from each other and, of course, the truth, and to commit to dream and realize it no matter how difficult it may be. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the resource speakers who said yes to our invitation. Maraming salamat po for your generosity in sharing your expertise and insights. My gratitude also goes to the Office of the President, Office of the Vice President for Higher Education, Office of Mission and Identity, College Formation Council, Formation and Student Support Offices, College Ignition Formation Program, and National Service Training Program, and to all the offering academic departments and the student volunteers for all your great contributions to the conceptualization, preparation, and the actual implementation of the ACP. And to all the students, welcome po sa inyong lahat to the ACP offerings that you have chosen to attend. Learn and enjoy Ateneans. Diyos mabalos po sa Indogapos.
Thank you so much for that inspiring message, Sir Sonny. Indeed, we need to keep on dreaming and do so collectively for the greater good ng ating community and country, and to commit ourselves to it no matter how difficult it may be. So yan, alright, alam ko naman na we are all ready and excited na to begin and meet our resource speaker for this webinar. But before that, let's have a brief background about the alternative class program and its theme ngayong semester. So let's all watch this.
Hello there, Ateneans. Here's what you need to know about the Alternative Class Program, or ACP. The ACP is conducted every semester to provide the college students with formative opportunities, a regular classroom routine and daily schedule, in support of the university's uniquely Jesuit educational goals. Instead of attending their class for a particular period, students choose at least one ACP topic from among the offered webinars and e-workshops. Carefully selected resource speakers from different fields of specialization to share their knowledge, skills, and inspire students to nurture their personal development and partake in social advocacies or causes. We thank you for your participation in the first ever virtual ACP last semester, which recorded an all-time high attendance turnout and received an overwhelmingly affirmative evaluation from students. Because of the ACP's affirming results and positive impact, we are continuing with a bigger and better ACP. However, the program shall still be carried out via digital platforms to ensure everyone's safety. The theme for this semester's ACP is Cannonballs, Firing Up Dreams, Courage, Action. The theme is inspired by the conversion of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, founder of the Society of Jesus. Just as Saint Ignatius was hit by a cannonball, which altered his life and drew him to a greater calling, this ACP hopes to light up the university's call for students to have dreams. Discern on how these dreams contribute to one's personal improvement and the common good. Muster courage and find ways to accomplish these dreams. To do this, ACP offerings are carefully chosen to be relevant to the current times, formative, and mission-driven. The webinars and e-workshops hope to start a conversation on one's life in the pandemic and the varied factors that affect it, and facilitate personal and even community reflection and discernment. Who knows? These virtual activities could fire up meaningful cannonball moments in you, dear students. At the end of the webinars and e-workshops, the ACP hopes for the following objectives. First, acquire knowledge and that are relevant to one's interest, talent, skill, passion, advocacy. Second, relate or share the learning and insight gained from the topic or activity in conversation or dialogue and personal reflection. Third, examine the importance of one's interest, talent, skill, advocacy to the development of the society. And fourth, seek ways or opportunities by which the gained knowledge and skill can be further advanced and used for the benefit of the immediate organization, community, or the larger society. For now, we would like to listen to the speakers sharing and take part in the conversation. Dream, have courage, take action, and don't forget to learn and have fun while we experience ACP, Ateneans.
All right, thank you for that, Jico. I hope na-enjoy niyo yung video, and I also hope that the video presentation allowed you to know and understand the reason kung bakit nga ba tayo may ACT and why we have sustained the implementation of the program despite at this time of
Anong
crisis.
oras?
Now, without further ado, let me introduce to you our resource
Anong
speaker.
oras?
So, our speaker for this morning is a teacher, engineer, and administrator at the Ateneo de Naga University. He graduated from the same university with a degree in BS Computer Engineering in 2002. He is a professional computer engineer and a Cisco Certified Network Associate. He is also a lifetime member of the Institute of Computer Engineers of the Philippines Incorporated. He is currently the director of the Network Operations and Computer Services of ADNU, where he also teaches specifically in the College of Science and Engineering undergraduate level. Everyone, with pride and gratitude, let us all welcome Engineer Zero Magallon.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much again for also for inviting us to give a talk on tech specs, basically requirements for online learning. Today, the coverage of our talk will be on the DepEd specifications that they released recently, the requirements for using online meeting platform like your Google Meet, Zoom, and Microsoft Teams, internet options that we might still don't know, like for the wired options, the wireless option. For the wireless, we'll be focusing more on the packet Wi-Fi options and the home Wi-Fi offerings. And then you have, lastly, a tour on how to configure your packet Wi-Fi. Okay, so start. As we all know, everyone was shocked with the emergence of COVID-19 in 2020 or even as early as 2019, and most of us were not prepared to transition from the usual face-to-face school setting to that of our online classes, and for some modular delivery of classes. But for those who opted for online classes, DepEd released a certain memorandum in detailing certain minimum specification for the gadgets and devices that the teachers and students might consider in their distance learning or online learning. According to DepEd Undersecretary for Administration Elaine Pasqua, through the ICT services or service, they release a certain memorandum containing minimum specification for laptops, desktop, and tablet, as well as your smartphone and internet services for the public school teachers and or students. Okay? So they said this minimum specification was facilitate the conduct of distance education during the COVID-19 pandemic and such other emergencies in the future, and will appropriate to the digital contents and software application that will be installed by DepEd, as Pasqua or Undersecretary Pasqua explained. According to them, the minimum and will appropriate to the digital contents and software application that will be installed by DepEd, as Pasqua or Undersecretary Pasqua explained. According to them, the minimum technical specification for laptop and desktop would be those with processors that are the minimum 1.6 gigahertz base speed with turbo speed and at least 8 gig RAM memory or for your desktop or laptop memory. I think this is very significant since with the introduction of Windows 10 and 11, it requires a lot of memory for it to be more efficient in its operation. So an 8 gig RAM would be advisable. Also, in addition, you need to have a minimum of 13 inches screen size, and that's the horizontal, should I say, the screen uh, size that we can consider for us to have an efficient or an acceptable viewing capability. Also, The minimum storage capacity would be a 512 gigabyte HDD SATA. And hopefully you have a speaker, a built speaker, camera, and wireless and Bluetooth connectivity, keyboard, optical and wireless mouse and headset capability, and those mentioned devices. Okay, now following the minimum specification of DepEd, our Knox Desktop team proposed the following devices that might fall within the said specification. So we just borrowed certain pictures and specification from vilman.com to be able to produce this presentation. So you can see there, one example is Asus Pro D540SA. This is a Windows 10 capable system unit or a computer unit with Intel Core i3. This is an 8th generation processor with 4 gig to 38 gig capability for its memory. So again, remember the 8 gig requirement, no? So you can just basically add up additional 4 gig for it to qualify for the minimum specification. But a 4 gig, I mean, for just encoding and the usual browsing, the 4 gig will do, no? But if you're heavy on online classes and other memory intensive software, the 8 gig would be the minimum. You can also opt for the Dell Inspiron 3470 Intel Pentium G5400. Okay, 4 gig, 1 terabyte hard drive, Windows 10 with your 20-inch monitor. Okay, then you can also opt for Acer Aspire XC885. Again, 8th generation Intel Core i3. Okay, 4 gig mem, 1 tera hard drive. And then this one has an NVIDIA video card, GT710. Okay, for laptop brands, you can opt for this one. Okay, this is an Intel Celeron N400. Okay, so it has a 4 gig memory, 128 gig PCIe SSD, the usual built-in Intel graphics, 14 inches display with DOS Linux operating system. You still need to install your Windows operating system for this one, no? Kasi by default it has DOS or Linux operating system. You can also opt for the Intel Celeron Dual Core N3350. Okay. This one has Chrome for its operating system. And then you have the Intel Core i3 7020U, 4 gig memory, 256 SSD with 1 terabyte HDD. Okay. And then 14 gig, sorry, 14 inches display with NVIDIA GeForce MX 130 with your additional 2 gig graphical memory or video RAM. Okay. It comes with your Windows 10 Home uh, operating system. You can also opt for this one. This is an Asus Vivo notebook. You have Intel Core i5, 8th generation, 4 gig memory, almost the same as storage and display setting. This one will have the NVIDIA GeForce MX 150, 2 gig memory, additional memory for the graphics card. Okay. For the use of senior and junior high school, the DepEd recommends two-in-one a tablet PC, uh, preferably with at the minimum 1.1 gigahertz base clock speed, 4 gig memory, 10 inches screen size. You have internal storage, what is 32 gig, capability for speaker, camera, wireless, and Bluetooth connectivity. keyboard, optical and wireless mouse, and headset. Okay. For tablet, at least you have a quad core with 1.3 gigahertz, 2 gig memory. At least your screen should be about 8 inches diagonal, and then you have 32 gigabyte of storage with front and rear camera, at least Android 9.0 operating system with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Okay. For smartphone, at least an octa-core 2.2 gigahertz phone with 2 gig memory and 6 inches screen, and then 32 gig storage, and at least with front and rear camera with at least 8.1 Android version with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support. Okay, so these are the examples of those products in the market that we see to be compliant with the requirements. So you have here Samsung Galaxy Tab A. Okay, so this is a 10.1-inch tablet with octa-core processor. Okay, dual 1.8 gig. Okay, and then this one is Huawei MatePad 10 or T10s with 10.1 inches. Okay, IPS touchscreen with your 3 gig memory, 64 storage, and a battery capacity of 5,100 milliampere hour. Okay. You can also opt for your Lenovo Tab 4 10 Plus. Okay. This one uses the Qualcomm MSM 18953 Snapdragon processor with 4 gig memory and 64 gig storage. Okay, with 5 MP front focus camera and 8 MP autofocus rear camera. Okay, and then Samsung Galaxy A10s for your smartphone. Again, octa-core 2.0 gigahertz Cortex A53, 2 gig RAM, 32 gig storage. So 4,000 milliampere hour, 8 MP front camera, 13 MP rear camera with 4 gig memory support and Android 9 or Pi operating system. Okay. You can also opt for Lenovo A8. Okay. So this one includes triple camera support with 4 gig memory, 64 gig storage, and uses Android 10 for the operating system. Okay. So Vivo Y71. So this one is a 6-inch full view HD screen smartphone with octa-core processor, 3 gig memory, 16 gig storage, 8 MP for your rear camera, 5 MP for the front facing camera with Android 8.1, and uses the OS 4.0 Fun Touch plus your Android 8.1 Android operating system. Okay. Now, those were the hardware options as mentioned by DepEd and the different marketly available devices that we saw with Vilman. Now, we'll talk about the different requirements for the online meeting platform. Okay. For Google Meet, obviously you need to have a Google account to be able to use Google Meet. Okay. And then for work or school work space user, your Google Workspace administrator needs to turn on your Meet or Google Meet in your organization for you to be able to access them. Okay, so they are the ones in control of that feature. So you need to be signed in to your Google Workspace account to create a video meeting. Anyone inside or outside the organization can join the said meeting as long as they have the link to that meeting. Okay, so for video calls, you'll need your Meet mobile app or the Google mobile app or a supported web browser for this. You also need a compatible with minimum system requirements device, maybe a tablet, cell phone, or smartphone, or laptop or desktop with a supported operating system. And definitely, you need to have a connection, an internet connection. May it be a broadband connection or a wired, let's say fiber optic or copper based connectivity. And then, definitely, you also need a webcam or an external USB camera for you to be able to use Google Meet. Okay? In terms of the supported operating system, Google Meet supports your Apple Mac OS, your Microsoft Windows, Chrome OS, Ubuntu, and other Debian-based Linux distribution. Okay, for mobile operating system, it will support Android 5.0 and above. For Apple-based system, you have iOS 12.0 and above. Okay, for Meet video calls in Google app that are compatible with this operating system, Android 6 and above, iOS 12.0 and above. Okay, in terms of supported web browser, Google recommends their Chrome browser, your Mozilla Firefox, the Microsoft Edge, and the Apple Safari. Okay, so if your browser doesn't support Meet video meetings, you can dial in using the phone number and PIN as provided by your meeting organizer. Okay, so allow me to use your camera and microphone. Before starting to use Meet, you need to allow access to your computer's camera and microphone. Okay. So how do we allow access for the first time when you use Meet? In a web browser, go to the Meet homepage, click Start a new meeting, and allow. There's usually a pop-up that tells you to share your camera and your microphone. Okay. If you weren't asked to allow access and if you block access before, you can change your setting by proceeding to your web browser, go to the Meet web page, click Start New Meeting. At the top right, click Camera Block and Always Allow. Click Always Allow. Okay. And then click Done, and then you can connect to your meeting automatically. Okay. What are the recommended webcams for this type of meeting? You can opt for your Logitech C6155 HD 1080p webcam, okay, or the one I'm using now. This is the A4Tech PK930 HA, the full HD 1080p autofocus webcam USB camera. Okay, so you have other options available in the market. All you need to do is look for them in the different sites available. You can also check for the recommended headset. No, we're recommending your A4 Tech HU7P Black Comfort Fit Stereo USB headset. Okay, we're proposing or recommending USB so as to make it easier for you to connect to any device, no? Especially if you're using laptops or desktops. Because you just typically these types of device will have USB in them, no? But if you take a look at their audio interfaces, they may vary from devices to devices. But you're assured that definitely if you have a laptop or a desktop, they will always have a USB interface there. So this one is the best option for a headset. Okay. So hardware recommendation to use Google Meet, the minimum system requirement are your dual core processor and a 2 gig memory. Okay. So in a scenario wherein you have a small video call, let's say less than 5 participants with the spotlight and tiled layout, and let's say a large video class of 5 or more participants with spotlight layout, you just need the dual core processor with 2 gig memory for the host computer. Okay. But if you talk about larger users, for example, small or large video calls in a layout, in any layout, with 1 to 2 open tabs or apps alongside, you'll be needing at least a quad-core Intel Celeron N3000 series processor or N4000 series or Intel Celeron
2000, 3000, 4000 series processors. Okay, or the AMD option would be AMD 3000, AMD Athlon 300, MediaTek 8173, 8183, all with 4 gig memory capacity. Okay, so if you have the same size of call plus using 5 to 10 open tabs or apps alongside Meet, you need a quad-core Intel Celeron N4000, 5000, and then 7th Gen Intel Core i3, 6th Gen Intel Core i5 processor, or Ryzen 3 3300U. Again, minimum requirement would be 4 gig memory. Okay. For small, large video calls, presenting to a video call with HD video quality using 10 or more open tabs, you need to have at least quad core 6th gen Intel i5 or AMD Ryzen 5 3500U with at least 8 gig memory. Okay? So how do we fix problem with Meet? If you're experiencing issue with your Google Meet, make sure you only have one Meet tab open at a time. Okay. Close any open web browser, okay, or tabs, windows, or apps that aren't currently being used. No? Turn off any Chrome extensions, specifically or especially Meet specific ones. No? Put your device on a flat, elevated surface to prevent your device from overheating. Take note, once your device overheat, it tends to lag, okay, or slow down its performance as a safety precaution. Avoid using device on the floor or bed for a long period of time. Change your Meet layout to spotlight view, okay. Change the quality of your device video to a lower resolution. These ones are specifically so as to consider lower bandwidth, no, or lower connectivity. Okay. In terms of limits, uh, you have here the different workspace edition or versions, and then the number of participants or the maximum participants. For business starters, frontline, education fundamentals, or education standard, or Google Suite Basic, you have a maximum of 100 participants per call. Okay. For business standard, enterprise essentials, Google Suite Business, nonprofits, you have 150. For Business Plus, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Teaching and Learning Upgrade, and Education Plus, you have 250 participants per session or video call. Okay. For free Google Meet user, okay, on a computer, you can host one-on-one calls up to 24 hours. For calls with three or more participants, you have up to 60 minutes. At 50 minutes, everyone, for a free Google Meet user, everyone will receive a chime, okay, and a message notification that your call is about to end. To end the call, the host can upgrade, or to extend the call, the host can upgrade their Google account. Otherwise, the call will end at 60 minutes. Okay. For Google Workspace individual subscriber, you can host one-on-one calls or group calls with three or more participants up to 24 hours. So that's the benefit for subscribers. Okay. How about Zoom? Okay. For Zoom rooms, okay, we'll talk about bandwidth requirements, platform requirements, and the verified platforms. Okay. For Zoom, in terms of bandwidth requirement, you have 2.0 Mbps up and down, meaning upload and download for single screen communication. For dual screen, you have 2 Mbps up to 4 Mbps uh, up down. Okay, so 2 Mbps upload, 4 Mbps download for dual screen, and for triple screen, you need 2 Mbps upload, 6 Mbps download. Okay. For screen sharing, you have 150 to 300 kbps, and for audio voice over IP, you have 60 to 80 kbps. Okay. For minimum OS that is supported by Zoom, you need to have Max OS 10 with Mac OS 10.14 or higher, or Windows 10 or higher. Okay. In terms of hardware requirement for Mac OS or Windows OS hardware, you have 2.45 gigahertz dual core Intel Core i5 or higher desktop CPU for single screen, or 2.8 gigahertz quad
Core intercore i7 or higher for desktop CPU with dual or triple screen processor. And then dual bank RAM for better performance is also recommended. Okay. For Mac Mini, at least you have an Apple M1 chip with 8 gig unified memory. For triple screen using Mac Mini, you need a 3.2 gigahertz 6 core 8th generation Intel Core i7 with 16 gig memory and Intel uh, graphics 630, and the use of HDMI cable and two USB-C to HDMI cable for the triple screen setup. Okay. You can also use Lenovo, HP, and Dell option for the Zoom Room uh, implementation. Okay, you have there Lenovo Think Smart Edition Tiny. You have HP Collaboration G6 PC, the Dell Optiplex 580 Micro. Okay, you also have Zoom Room Touch verified platforms. So these are touch screens capable platforms. Okay, so you have their different display capability like Display 10 D5 board, Dell Touch Display, Avocore F10 Touch Display, okay, and other platforms available, including Microsoft Surface Pro. Okay, so appliances available, you have their Neat Bar plus Neat Pad, Poly Studio, Logitech, Yeelink, okay. Other appliance D10 on 55 inches, D10 Me 27 inches desktops. Okay, for controller units, you have their Neat Pad, Apple iOS tablet like your iPad Mini, iPad, iPad Pro. Okay, tablets that are Android based. Okay, or Windows 10 tablet or Creston tablet. Those are recommended Zoom Room controllers. Okay, you also have option for Microsoft Teams. Okay, so you have here the number of teams you can create for Microsoft Teams. So you have a user can create about 250 object limits. Okay. So a number of teams a user can be a member of would be 1,000. Number of members in a team would be 25,000. Number of owners per team is 100. Number of org-wide teams allowed in a tenant is 5. Number of members in an org-wide team is 10,000. The number of global admin can create is about 500,000. Number of teams a Microsoft 365 Office 365 organization can have is 500,000, and number of channels per team would be 200. Okay? So an issue regarding the count, any directory object in your Azure Active Directory counts toward this limit as mentioned in the table. Okay? So global admins are exempt from this limit, as are apps calling Microsoft Graph using application permission. This limit includes your archive teams. Okay. Deleted channels can be restored within 30 days. During these 30 days, a deleted channel continues to be counted towards your 200 channel or 30 private channel per team limit. So after 30 days, a deleted channel and its content are permanently deleted and the channel no longer counts towards your per team limit. As to messaging, a user who participates in conversation must have an exchange online mailbox. Okay, so as your ad, for your admin to search chat conversations. So If a chat participant doesn't have an exchange online email box, the admin should be able to search a place and hold a chat conversation. Okay. In terms of chat, okay, Team Chat works on Microsoft Exchange backend, so Exchange messaging limit
Mailbox.
apply
Okay.
to chat
So
function
as
within
your
Teams. So a
for your
number of
admin to
person in
search chat
private chat would be
conversations.
250. Number of people in a video
So
or
if a
audio
chat
call is
participant
20.
doesn't have an
Number of
exchange
file
online email
attachment is about
box,
20 with chat
the
size
admin should be able to
approximately
search a place
20
and hold
kilobyte
a
per
chat
post. Okay? If you have more than 20 people in a chat, the following chat features are turned off: your Outlook automatic replies, team status messages, typing indicator, video and audio calling, sharing, read receipts. Okay. The set delivery option button is also removed when private chat contain more than 20 members. So only 200 members at a time can be added to a group chat, and if the number of attached exceeds this limit, you'll see an error message. So there's certain limitations in your Microsoft Teams. Emailing a channel: if the user wants to send email to a channel in Teams, they use the channel email address. When an email is part of a channel, anyone can reply to it to start a conversation. Okay. So again, message size maximum limit would be 24 kilobyte. Number of file attachment is 20. Size of each file attachment, it should be less than 10 MB. And the number of inline messages, about 50. Okay. In terms of creating channel names, your channel name must not contain the following character or words, because this one would have certain predefined functions. Okay, characters like your tilde, your hashtag or number sign, okay, or pound sign. Character in these ranges 0 to 1F, 80 to 9F. Words like forms, coin in, con outs, PRN, auxiliary, AUX, null. These words are considered reserved words. Okay. Now, number of people in a meeting that can chat and call in, about 1,000. Okay. This is meeting in calls. Okay. Number of people in a video or audio call from chat should be about 20. Maximum PowerPoint file size is about 2 gig. And number of meeting or team keeps meeting recordings that don't get uploaded in the Microsoft streams but available for your local download will be about to 20 days maximum limit. Okay. In terms of meeting expiration, for Meet Now, you have the starting time up to 8 hours. Okay. That's how long the meeting expire after this much time. Then you also consider each time you start or update a meeting, expiration extend by this much. So if it's a regular meeting with no end time, it will be start time plus 80 days. Okay. And each time you update it, it will extend to 80 days. With regular end time, that would be end time plus 60 days. For recurring with no end time, start time from 60 days, and recurring with end time of last recurrence plus 60 days. Okay. For team live events, it has the maximum size or audience size of 10,000 attendees. Maximum duration of event would be 4 hours. Concurrent live events running your Microsoft 365 and Office 365 organization, that would be 15. Okay. So you can schedule as many live events you want, but you can only run 15 at a time. As soon as the producer joins a live event, it's considered to be running. So the producer who attempts to join the 16th live event gets an error. Okay. So Office 365 live event limit increases. So with their announcement, through December 31, 2021, they will extend the temporary limit increase for live events to support up to 20,000 attendees, with 50 events that can be hosted simultaneously across a tenant, with event duration
running up to 16 hours per broadcast. Okay, so it's quite big in terms of the increase. Okay, uh, you can also have presence in Outlook. Teams presence in Outlook is supported on your Outlook 2013 desktop app and later with the with the recent versions. Okay. In terms of storage, each team in Microsoft Team has a team site in SharePoint Online, and each channel in a team gets a folder within the default team site document file. So files shared within a conversation are automatically added in your document library, and permission and file security option are automatically reflected within Teams. If you do not have SharePoint enabled in your tenant, Microsoft users cannot always share files in Teams. So that would be your limitation. So by storing files in your SharePoint online document library and OneDrive for business, all compliance rules configured at the tenant level will be followed. Okay. So these are your storage limits together with the storage team file sizes, the maximum capability in terms of storage, the file limit. Okay. So for example, for those using Microsoft 365 Business Basic, you have 1 tera or terabyte per organization plus 10 gigabyte per license purchase. And then for storage for team files, you have up to 25 terabyte per site or group with a file upload limit of 250 gig per file. Okay. Microsoft Teams for Education provides template for unique education scenario, such as your classroom teaching. Okay, so you can download this from their site. A class team is a template type with additional apps included, and with limits separate the number of team members. So a class team can support more than 300 members. However, if you plan to use either the assignment app or classroom notebook within your team, you will need to keep the number of members below your maximum limits above. Okay. Team also uses contacts. Okay. So they make use of your organization's Active Directory. So contacts are added to the user's Outlook default folder. Okay. So here are the different steps to be able to uh, connect your contacts to your team. Okay. In terms of browser support, you have there for calling, audio, video, and sharing, and then meetings, audio, video, and sharing. Uh, Internet Explorer 11 is not supported for calling, audio, video, and sharing. Meetings are supported only if the meeting include PSTN coordinates. Okay. What are supported would be this, no? The recent versions of this. You have your Firefox, Edge, Safari, Opera, and Chrome. And the operating system supported would be your Microsoft Windows, Mac, and then your Linux platform. Okay. For hardware requirements, you have the minimum of 1.1 gigahertz for fast or faster with at least 2 core processor. And then you have 4 gig for RAM. Okay. Teams require a dedicated 4 gig RAM over and above any other system requirement. So if you can get 8, the better. Okay. Hard disk size required would be 8 gig with a display resolution of 1024 by 768. Okay. So in terms of window graphics, you have your acceleration required would be DirectX 9 or later. Okay. With WDDM 2.0 or higher for Windows 10, or WDDM 1.3 or higher for Windows 10 Fall Creators update. Okay. Other requirements would be operating system, your Windows 10, uh, Windows 8.1, Server 2019, Server 2016, Windows Server 2012 R2. These are supported operating system. Okay, they will also require a .NET version of 4.5 CLR and a video camera, a USB video camera of 2.0 interface. Okay, and your usual standard laptop desktop camera or microphone and speaker. Okay, for video calls and meetings, you would require two-core processor with higher video screen share resolution and frame rate, or uh, a four-core processor or higher is recommended for higher quality. Background effects require Windows 10 or processor with AVX2 instruction set. Okay. For Mac, you have Intel Core Duo processor with 4 gig RAM. Okay. And then hard disk of 1.5, 1280 by 800 resolution. You have your most recent version of macOS, compatible webcam, microphone, speakers, headset is also desired. Okay. So for laptops, you would require two-core processor with higher video screen and share a resolution rate with four-core processor or higher is recommended. For Linux, you'll need 1.6 gigahertz or higher, whether 32-bit or 64-bit, dual core, 4 gig memory or higher, 3 gig hard drive with 1024 by 768 screen resolution with graphics hardware of 128 megabyte graphics memory in whatever Linux operation distribution it may be, especially Debian or RPM, and with a USB 2.0 video camera also. Okay, so your standard laptop camera, microphone, speaker. Okay. So supported Linux distribution would be your Ubuntu, okay, Fedora workstation, Red Hat Linux, and CentOS. Okay. For environment, it will support Genome or KDE with the support for display X11 or Windows X. Okay. For mobile device, it will support the last four major versions of Android. Okay. So make sure that you have the necessary uh, operating system for Android that is being supported by Teams. Same with iOS. Okay. So iOS is limited to support the two most major version of iOS. Teams also support VDIs or virtual desktop infrastructure for those using thin clients and computing devices. So Teams is also supporting this type of deployments. Okay. Now, another tech specs that you also need to know would be your internet options. So you have here wired or wireless connectivity. Okay. So let's take a look at your wired option. For wired option, especially in considering Naga City, okay, or the neighboring municipalities and cities, you have here options for PLDT, home internet for wired connection. You have three options actually from PLDT. You have the only fiber with mesh, and fiber for home based business. We'll just be focusing on the first two. Okay, so you have there only fiber. This only fiber plan comes at 50 Mbps. That's for the speed or bandwidth allocation with a monthly rate of 2099. Okay. Their best seller is your 100 Mbps only fiber plan 2699. So you need to pay 2699 monthly for this specific plan. It comes with your landline with unlimited calls to all PLDT landlines. Okay. You also have 35 Mbps for 1699 plan, 200 Mbps for 3799, 600 Mbps for 5799 plan, and 1000 Mbps for 9499 plan. Okay. Now, these Mbps that are presented by PLDT are just the, I think, the maximum bandwidth that you can get. But you still need to look at the fine print as to how many percent is their assured bandwidth, and how often that bandwidth will be given to you. So there are fine print that you need to read through for this offer. Okay. You also have the Only Fiber, basically the same bandwidth offer, but with additional mesh Wi-Fi access point provided. Okay, so this one is plan 100 Mbps with Fiber Plus plan 2999, and 200 Mbps Fiber Plus plan 4099 or 4099. Okay, the difference would be the bandwidth. Both would have three mesh Wi-Fi access points and the usual landline provided by PLDT. Okay. Then this one would have 50 Mbps for 2399, 600 Mbps for plus plan 6099, and 1000 Mbps or 1 gig for fiber plus plan 9999. Okay. You also have the option from DCTV Fiber Home. You have the fiber plan 1500 residential. Take note of the term up to 30 Mbps, inclusive with your digital cable TV. And then your plan 250, 2500, sorry, up to 50 Mbps. For plan 3500, that would be up to 80 Mbps, and plan 4500, which is up to 100 Mbps. Take note of, again, of the term up to. Okay, so fine print. With Converge, you have a more overt description of their plan. So you have Fiber X 1515 or 1500. That would be 35 Mbps. But take a look at the lower part. You have 30% minimum speed with 80% service reliability. Okay. You also have an installation fee of 2,500, lock-in period of 2 years. Okay. So you have 35 Mbps for web browsing, video streaming, music streaming with no data cap. Okay. But you have a 30% minimum speed at 80% service reliability. Okay. So you also have FiberX 25 or 2500 at 100 Mbps. Okay. And 200 Mbps at FiberX 3500. Okay. They also offer the time of day showcase with four different speed variants. You have the daytime and nighttime uh, difference. No, they say daytime is the 7 a.m. to 6:59 p.m. and nighttime rate is for the 7 p.m. down up to the next day 6:59 a.m. So the first offer is 1899, which is your monthly recurring fee. In the morning you have 70 Mbps, but in the evening you have the maximum of 35 Mbps. For the second option, the 2899 plan, you have 200 Mbps in the morning, 100 Mbps at night, or 400 Mbps in the morning, 200 Mbps at night for 3,899. And for the fourth one, you have 800 Mbps in the morning, 400 Mbps at night at 4,899. Okay, so it depends on what type of user you are, no? So do you need more internet connection in the morning than in the evening? Okay, or vice versa. Or you need a more fixed connection, as mentioned in the previous slides. Okay, You can also apply in there Fiber Extreme 4500, which is 400 Mbps speed. Okay. And then you have Fiber Extreme 7000, which is 800 Mbps. At these two option, they already waive installation fee. Okay, but still the same lock-in period and the same minimum speed and at 80% service reliability. Okay. For internet option that is wireless or mobile, we took uh, the options from Smart and Globe. Okay. So for Smart Pocket Wi-Fi, you have their offer for Smart Bro 5 gig Rocket Wi-Fi. Okay. So this one is their latest pocket Wi-Fi device, the 5G Rocket Wi-Fi that can connect 15 devices and can sustain 5,000 milliampere hour uh, power. Okay. You also have their Smart Bro prepaid pocket Wi-Fi Advance at 19995. Okay, almost 2,000. You have their twice faster than your LTE via carrier aggregation. You can connect up to 10 devices with 3,000 milliampere hour for battery life. Okay. And you have here the basic Smart Bro prepaid pocket Wi-Fi. Okay, this one connects up to 5 devices. Okay, so these are their different packet Wi-Fi models. Okay, the one from Boost Even, Evolution, ZTE. You can see that the different processors, the speed, maximum speed. Typically, this tree will have up to 42 Mbps maximum speed, and they can connect to 4G LTE, 4G HSPA, and HSPA. Okay, with the battery life of 2050, 2000, 2000 for the last two. Okay, these three are the newer ones from Green Packet, MQ725, ZTE, and Evolution. As you can see, they have a better speed. They can have a download speed up to 300 Mbps, upload speed of 100 Mbps, with battery life significantly higher than the previous three presented. The one from Green Packet has 3,250 milliampere hour. The second one is 2,800. The other one is 3,000. Okay. In terms of load, okay, we recommend that you get the study anywhere option, the Giga Study from Smart. No, what it means is that you per day you have a load of 1 gig that you can use for YouTube, Google Classroom, Google Chat or Google Meet, uh, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365, Canvas, and Neo. Okay, these are LMS platforms that are typically used in the different university setups. Okay. So for study anywhere, you can have the option of the study anywhere plus 2 gig. So that would be 99 pesos. That is good for 7 days. Or the study anywhere plus 6 gig. That is good for 399 for 30 days. Or study anywhere plus 4 gig. That would be 299 for 30 days. Or the study anywhere plus 8 gig, which is good for 499 for 30 days. Okay. So what does this mean? If you have 1 gig per day, for example, for study anywhere plus 2 gig, you actually have 7 gig plus 2 gig. Okay. So 1 gig per day for 7 days plus an additional 2 gig. What it means is that if you exceed the 1 gig per day allocation, the succeeding usage will now be taken from the 2 gig. Okay. So for example, for day one or Monday, you're able to consume 2 gig. So what you'll have now is the 1 gig from the study anywhere plus minus 1 gig from your 2 gig allocation. So what you have are just the 1 gig from Tuesday until Sunday, and then 1 gig buffer. Okay. So for 30 days, for 299, it also means you have in total 34 gig allocation, but 30 for the everyday 1 gig plus 4 gig for buffer. Okay, so that's what it means for this specific study anywhere offer. Okay, you also have plans for those who need postpaid. Okay, so 499, that would be 6 gig allocation with monthly fee of 499, and then plan 799 you have 10 gig allocation, and then 999 you have 15 gig operation. Okay, now this is in contrast to the wired connection wherein you're paying for the speed. For pocket Wi-Fi, you're paying for the data allocation. So you have difference in terms of the uh, measure. No? In pocket Wi-Fi, you're measuring the gig, the data you're using. So that would be in terms of gigabytes. But for wired connections, typically you're measuring the speed. So you go for Mbps, 10 Mbps, 35 Mbps, 25 Mbps. Okay? So you have the difference in terms of measuring usage. Okay? So for Smart Bro postpaid plan, you have 499 as mentioned earlier, plan 799 and plan 999. For Globe, you also have these models, no? They are your LTE packet Wi-Fi, capable of 48-hour usage, no? Shareable up to 4 devices, and an initial 9 gig if you plan to buy them, no? So Myfi LTE. So that's the term. Okay. You also have this Myfi Lte Advance. Okay. A bit costlier. You have 1899 for the retail cost. Okay. Capable up to 100 Mbps LTE speed, and 12 devices. You can connect up to 12 devices. Okay. You also have the prepaid home, Globe at Home. The difference here is that with the first two, you can basically be mobile with their usage. You can carry them anywhere. But for the home, Globe at Home prepaid Wi-Fi, you need to be plugged in to the socket unless you have a modified connector for power banks. Okay. So this one will have a faster connectivity and a better Wi-Fi signal reception. Okay. You can share up to 6 devices. So you can see there, it also has support for 4 LAN ports, meaning you can connect network cables to this device, up to 4 network connections. Okay. And in terms of wireless, it can support 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz connectivity. Okay. For Blackpink supporter or fan, you also have the limited edition Blackpink Globe at Home Prepaid Wi-Fi LTE Advanced. Okay. So twice the signal's strength and wider coverage, share up to 6 devices, and you have a free 10 gig of data allocation. Okay. Again, with dual band 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz connections, and various add-ons. You also have this, the Globe at Home prepaid Wi-Fi. That's your this one is a lot cheaper. You have 499, okay, from the original 9999 retail cost. You also have Extreme Globe at Home Extreme Home prepaid Wi-Fi. Okay, this one is typically used for your internet TV setup, fast home internet connection. Okay, so it will cost you about 1,499 to acquire this one. Okay. Now, the last topic would be how to configure your pocket Wi-Fi. So we'll be using the smart option since this was the one I bought recently for my kid. Okay, so typical connection would be just choosing them from among the Wi-Fi SSID or name that you see in your, let's say, cell phone or laptop, and then you connect to them. Just take a look at the manual of your packet Wi-Fi as to what IP address you need to input to be able to manage them. For this specific device, the management IP is 192.168.1.1. Okay. And then you'll be prompted once you place that in your browser, you'll be prompted to uh, in uh, encode the username and password. By default, that would be Smart Bro and Smart Bro. Okay. And then you'll now see this interface. You'll see there the change name and password tab as SMS, your account management advanced setting. You can also see there the standard that it's using. For us, that would be your 4G LTE from Smart. You can see there the battery load of your pocket Wi-Fi, the signal, the internet connection, and the Wi-Fi connection. And you can see there the number, okay, the number of the SIM card to which is installed in your device. Okay. Afterwards, you'll be prompted to change the name of your LTE. It depends on you if you'd like it to be the same as a program or you can customize it to your uh, liking. Okay. You can also change the password. Okay. Whether you change the one for the 2.4 gigahertz and the other one for the 5 gigahertz connection. Okay. The same time, you can also see there the SMS part. So this is very helpful, especially in getting uh, OTPs, okay, one-time password, especially if you're applying to the GigaLife application or reloading your device, etc. So you'll need the SMS part, okay? You also have the account management, so it will guide you to downloading the smart app, okay? And it can also offer certain FAQs or frequently asked questions, or it will guide you also to loading online. Okay. Now, in terms of the advanced setting, it is here that you will see more technical information about your device. So, for example, of basic status, you will see there that the network is in auto. So, it's up for the device to choose the network connection it will attach into. Here you have LTE as the one that was chosen by the device. Okay. And then you will see here the one IP, the DNS IP address, if your Wi-Fi is on, and the number of user that your packet Wi-Fi is connecting to. Okay. So I just blotted out certain information. No. But this one you have one device, which is my laptop, and then you have the IP address given to that specific device. Okay. For maintenance option, it will give you option for rebooting the device or factory setting if you'd like to reset the configuration. Also, option for connecting or disconnecting to the mobile internet. Okay. You also have Wi-Fi setting options. No, if you'd like to configure the 2.4 gigahertz, if you'd like to enable it or disable it, change the Wi-Fi name or the SSID for the channel, okay, or the security mode, WPA ba, WPA2, okay, WPA option like AES, TKIP, to your password, the supported Wi-Fi standard like 802.11b, G, N, okay. So it depends on what you like. So by default, it will support 2.4 gigahertz of 802.11b, G, or N, okay. You can also have the option of disabling or enabling the SSID broadcast. And you can also define the number of maximum user you like to support for that specific packet Wi-Fi. Okay? So the same thing for your 5 gigahertz option. Okay? So you can define what would be the channel, the Wi-Fi band, the security mode, the WPA option, the password, and the supported 802.11 mode, whether you're going to enable it or disable the broadcast, and the number of maximum user. Okay. Also for network setting, okay, so you can choose among the different signals available in your location, or you choose auto and you let your device choose the best access point near that specific location. Okay. You can also choose network operators. Okay. Or you let it choose its own network operators. For admin setting, typically you can change the username, but you can change the login password. So it is advised that you change the login password for your security. Okay. And then in terms of timeout, if you didn't move anything or change anything within 15 minutes, you will be automatically logged off from the device. Okay. So you can set that up in the login timeout. For device power save, okay, so you can turn it on or off or set certain number of minutes before your device shuts down if it's not used. Okay. For the techie side, you can also define the number of uh, IP addresses that you can assign to the devices and their least time. This least time of 86,400 is basically your 86,400 seconds, which is equal to 1 day. Okay. So 1 day lease time, meaning that specific IP address that you assign to the device will stay on that specific device for 1 day. Okay. You can either enable this or disable this depending on your setup. Okay. You could also implement MAC filter in the sense that only pre-encoded MAC addresses of devices will be able to connect to your access point or to your packet Wi-Fi. No, if hindi sila registered, they cannot connect to your packet Wi-Fi. So you can do this if you have much time. No, so it's not just the password. You can also check the MAC address of devices that are connecting to your device. In the same way, you can also filter IP addresses. Okay. So if you'd like to limit certain access of certain IP addresses, you can also do so using this option. Okay. You can also limit the URL or websites that your user can visit. Okay. So you use the URL filter for that. Okay. Same with port filters. Okay. So for those who are techies who knows about 443, okay, uh, other ports like 23, 22, okay, all of those can be also filtered using this option. Okay. Port forwarding. Okay. So this one would allow remote computers to connect to a specific computer inside your network. No, let's say from public going to your internal network through the use of packet Wi-Fi. This is also possible through port forwarding. Okay. You can also use dynamic DNS. Okay. Uh, this is used for a subscription-based system, no, wherein it updates real time your IP address. So you can connect to your packet Wi-Fi or a device inside your location or inside your network from a public domain, no? Even if you change ISPs, okay, or uh, internet access, okay? So they're the ones tracking your changes. So this is a subscription-based system. Okay. You also have WPS. So this is the easy way to connect to your Wi-Fi, an AP or AP. Okay. So it's a matter of encoding the pin or but by just clicking the button for the Wi-Fi protected setup. Okay. And you can also see the about part wherein you can see the software hardware version of your device, your IMSI, your MAC address, okay, and your IMEI identifiers. So these are mobile identifiers that are unique around the world. No, You also have option for upgrading your firmware or the program of your pocket Wi-Fi. So it will be different from model to model. So you just need to look for the said option. Okay. So that's it. Just mabalos. Hopefully you learned something from this talk, and this will be helpful for you in your online learning. Mabalos.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Zero, for that very informative talk. Also, thank you for showing us some of the most important points about technology na dapat naming i-take note as we go on with our journey dito sa online blended learning. Ngayon naman, for the next part, nandito na tayo sa most anticipated part of this session, the question and answer or the open forum. So we encourage you to share your thoughts, which can be in the forms of questions, sharing of insights, or realizations. So to facilitate our open forum, kindly click na lang yung ating raise hand button and wait for your name to be called before unmuting to speak. Pwede nyo rin gamitin ang ating chat box to send your question and I will read them for you so the speaker can address it. Okay, while you are constructing your questions and messages, let us welcome our first reactor for this webinar, Mr. Jack Ivan Odal. Jack, are you here?
Yes po.
Hi, Jack.
Good
Good
afternoon.
morning.
Hi, good morning. First of all, thank you po, Sir Zero, for the very in-depth and informative talk. I appreciated the part where you shown us different scenarios in terms of hardware and what kind of tasks we are performing. It is to show na parang to see if our device is suitable for performing that specific task. And I also appreciated you clarifying what the additional gigabyte is at for the different plan offers. It gave me the idea of to be more careful in consuming or in consuming my load data. And I hope that what we have learned will be applied so that we can also help our different students or our parents or relatives in their respective online work or learning. So with that po, sir, may follow-up question lang po. If in your personal preference po, anong mas tingin nyo ang suitable for this setup today? Desktop computer or laptop personal computer po? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Jack. No, I think you need to check on one thing. For mobility, the best option is laptop. Pero if you're just static lang naman, nasa bahay lang yung device, hindi naman ginagalaw-galaw kung saan-saan, a desktop is the best option.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay. So, thank you, Jack, and thank you, Sir Zero. Ngayon naman, may I call in the second reactor of our webinar, Mr. Rain Zamudio III. Rain, are you here?
Yes po.
Okay. Hi, Rain. Far away.
Hello po. Hello everyone. So, personally, I gained a lot from our discussions. So, thank you, sir. And I was recently just informed that we have this minimum requirements in order for our online classes to be efficient as stated by the DepEd. And for someone like me who isn't particularly tech savvy and has little knowledge of my computer specifications, this is new and informative. So actually, I intend to buy a new computer, and this I believe will be very beneficial to participants who, just like me, who will be purchasing items that are required for the online learning. So we do not just buy them, but we have to look for their specifications, which will allow us to make the best decision for the good internet subscriptions and I really had no idea that what was the best for my location. And with that, I had to do my research pa and ask my friends and all their that for recommendations. But even so, this type of webinar provided me not just me, but everyone here with important information to remember. And that's it po. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your reaction, Rain. Sir Zero, would you like to respond to that reaction?
Uh, I'm thankful, Rain, for the opportunity to be able to share what I know, no, specifically on the specification of devices that you're going to purchase. Good thing that bibili ka pa lang, hindi ka pa nakabili. So you'll be able to know ano yung specification na applicable for you, no? Sometimes kasi ang iniisip lang natin, ano ba yung presyo? Okay, so we're focusing more on the price but not necessarily on the actual specs na kakailanganin mo. Okay? So sometimes we just opt for the cheaper ones pero once we were using it na, yun, naghahang yung video, hindi maayos yung performance kasi nga hindi proper yung specs na napili natin. We just decided based on price. No? So first thing to consider, ano ba talaga yung paggagamitan mo ng device? So that's the important thing for acquiring your hardware. The next one would be the consideration for the internet. What you need to do is to make sure you read the fine print. Lagi ko yung sinasabi in every talk that I give with OSA and the other groups, no? Always read the fine print. Kasi oftentimes, nadadala tayo ng mga marketing gimmicks nila. Okay? Sometimes they say, oh, this is fast kasi fiber. Pero pag tinignan mo yung details, ang baba pala. We're subscribing, for example, for 100 Mbps, pero yung kaya lang ibigay sa atin is 30 Mbps at 80% of the time. Okay? So, napakababa compared sa binabayaran natin. So, these are fine prints that we need to consider also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Zero. Thank you also for your insights, Jack and Rain. So now we will now entertain the questions from our Zoom and YouTube audience. So let's check the questions we have received so far. Ayun, meron. The first question from Anonymous. So the question is, what does it mean or what can a device be capable of when the device has both SSD plus HDD for memory? So ano daw
That's
sir
a
yung
good
pinagkaiba?
That's a good
Yes.
question, no? HDD is your hard drive or hard disk. Your typical SATA hard drive. Okay? Yung SSD is the solid state devices. Now, pag sinabi nating solid state devices, mas mabilis siya compared to your hard drive. Kasi yung hard drive natin or HDD, may spindle pa yan. Parang may plate and then may nagre-read and write na spindle. Ang problema nun, mas mabagal siya. Okay? So the trend now is either to totally transfer or migrate to SSD, which is a solid state device. Imagine niyo parang flash drive niyo siya. Ganun kabilis siya mag-transfer ng data. So walang moving parts, electronic circuitry lang talaga yun nandun. So faster yung ano niya, yung processing of read and write. Now, yung movement for some, ang ginagawa nila, they purchase SSD plus HDD. Yung SSD, doon naka-install yung operating system para mabilis mag-boot up, mag-run yung system. And then yung HDD nila for storage lang. Kasi hindi naman kailangan ng super fast for the storage. So, ganun yung ginagawa nila na combination. Pero as an advice, dun sa bibili pa lang, Rain, ng bagong laptop or desktop, opt for the SSD option. Mas mabilis siya significantly.
Okay, thank you for that, Sir Zero. Noted po, yung mga bibili pa lang, opt for the SSD option. So, sir, meron pala pong pahabol na question si Jack. Ano
Yeah.
po, sir, ang meaning ng HZ sa mga processor? Since
That would
na-mention
be
po siya a lot sa
hertz. Oo,
discussion.
hertz. Yung
Hertz
clock
po.
time yan ng ating processor. Yung clock time, the higher the clock time, mas mabilis siya. Kasi mas maraming data na pwedeng i-transfer from one end to another part ng motherboard natin. So the hertz measures yung clock time na tinatawag. So the higher the clock time, mas mabilis mag-function yung ating device.
Okay, thank you po, sir. I hope that answered the question, Jack. So, from anonymous question po ulit, can online learning be sustainable in regards with the differing consistency and effectiveness of different internet providers that we currently have? Siguro po dito, sir, yung parang nagbabago, yung pahina-hina ng mga service
Yeah,
providers.
oo. Ah, we are surviving so far given this online learning setup, no, we are surviving, resilient naman tayo, pero we can still hope for the best infrastructure. Sana mag-improve yung development ng infrastructure ng PLDT, ng Converge, ng DCTV, para naman ng Globe, para naman maganda yung experience ng ating mga subscribers, no?
Okay.
So I think we can always hope for that. Pero so far, given this situation now, yun na lang, we survive na lang siguro. We look for the best area na may magandang signal, or we subscribe to ISP na lesser yung downtime.
Okay po. Thank you, sir. So, ito naman po from Malvin Valdez. Sir, I currently have two drives, one SSD and one HDD. And same po kasi may OS. So, paano ko po may didelete yung OS sa HDD para isa na lang na OS?
Mag-aano ka niyan, may problema ka niyan dun sa ano mo, boot up configuration. Kasi kung dual boot up ka, re-reconfigure ka niya ng OS mo, yung Groove. So kindly look into that in changing yung ano mo, boot up setting. Kasi for example, you have Windows and Linux, and then gustong tanggalin mo yung other one, there will be configuration changes that you need to consider. So yun na lang ang tingnan mo, how to change the whichever is yung magiging mong primary, is it Windows or Linux, and then change the boot up setting appropriately.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you rin, Malvin. Now, from Noli Babiera. Good afternoon po, sir. Nag-upgrade po ako sa SSD pero minsan po naglalag pa rin kapag ginagamit ang Filmora. Need ko pa po ba magpalit ng RAM?
You need to check ano yung minimum requirement ng Filmora mo. Kasi it might not be using the minimum requirement for Filmora. Take note guys na bawat application will have the minimum specs requirement. So hindi lang siya hard drive yung consideration, but also the processor plus the memory. Okay? So especially kung Filmora is parang video editor system. So you'll require 8 to 16 gig or more memory for that. And then sana higher processor like the 11th gen, let's say i5 or i7. So ang daming aspeto na kailangan tingnan, especially in deciding what hardware to use, no? So hindi lang siya si SSD hard drive. So may additional memory, processor.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Nolly. So, ngayon naman, sir, from Anonymous ulit, would it be better po to go for PC and laptops with higher specs kahit for online classes lang?
As long as you have the budget, why not? Yun naman lang yun eh. If you have the budget, go. I would prefer na you get the latest processor like the 11th gen Core i options with let's say 8 gig to 16 gig memory with video card, etc. As long as your financial rope can handle it, why not? Or
Okay.
you can opt also for the AMD version, the Ryzen
Horizon.
versions. Oo. So it's
Okay.
up to you. Basta may budget kayo, go for the higher specs kasi mas longer mo siya magagamit given the obsolescence of our IT devices, di ba? Almost every other year na magbabago yung standard natin for hardware. So go for the higher version para mas matagal mo siya magamit. Like yung laptop namin, yung sa College of Engineering, we purchased a laptop, matagal na. 2005 pa yata. 2015 buhay pa rin siya. So kasi high-end na specs siya. So usable pa rin and even a decade after.
Okay. Thank you po, sir. Another question po, how to have a faster Wi-Fi at home po. Where should we place it and should we change something in the IP configuration for it to be faster? Siguro po ito yung sa DNS server yata po, sir.
I think kung pocket Wi-Fi ba or Globe at Home. For example, Globe at Home or Smart at Home na setup, usually ang the best location would be yung sa bintana. Kung may second floor kayo, naka-second floor near the window para mas maganda yung reception ng signal. Kasi these are mobile internet appliance. So, 'di ba, experience natin pag nasa loob tayo ng bahay, mas lower yung signal natin. So, ang dami kasing dinadaanan na materials. So, the more materials yung dinadaanan niya, mas lesser yung signal kasi naa-absorb ng materials. So, the best place would be near the window. Kung may second floor kayo, sa second floor. And then, meron din mga hacks na available ngayon sa YouTube wherein kinakabitan nila ng external antenna. So, that might void the warranty of your device pero you can try para mas maganda yung signal nyo.
Yes po, sir. Thank you, sir. Ngayon naman from Anne Ubanya. So, as a student po who takes online classes, may I ask po, what is the best course of action pag nasira po yung LCD ng laptop? I bought monitor for temporary solution. Then I asked Acer na po and it takes 1 month to fix the issue since galing pa daw Manila ang pyesa
Correct.
or ipaayos na po sa unaffiliated service. So, I'm considering din po time since ito lang yung device ko for online classes. So, should she daw po sa Manila pa or ipapaayos na sa unaffiliated service?
Depende kung under warranty. Kung under warranty, better na sa service center na. Look for your local service center. Like, let's say kung sa Naga siya and then may available na service center, dun yun na ipatrabaho kasi within warranty. Pero kung outside warranty and urgent yung need, you can ask for reliable service centers na hindi affiliated dun sa binilihan mo ng, let's say, Lenovo, Acer. So, dun na kayo. Para siguraduhin niyo lang na reliable siya para maganda pa rin yung performance ng yung ng laptop or desktop. Pero good thing na yung ginawa mo na you use a separate monitor. It will function naman as long as working properly yung VGA niya or HDMI connection ng laptop. It will still work.
Okay, thank you po, Sir Zero. Meron din additional advice si Sir Vons. May service center for Acer sa may St. Joseph. May building doon.
Oo, correct. Oo. Kung
Thank you, Sir
Acer,
Vons.
pero
Yes
paano
po.
Lenovo, Dell, and other Huawei and other platform, you need to look for local service center or kung walang-wala talaga, yun. Other
Okay.
na lang service centers.
Okay, thank you po, sir. So, last question na yata po to. So, from Anonymous ulit. So, since you, Sir Zero, mentioned that there are limits in the number of participants in, for example, Zoom, what if our organization wants to conduct an org event for a lot of people? Is there a Zoom account from Ateneo that we can borrow or use?
Ay, hindi ko sure. Pero alam ko, for one, we have an account for big crowds, no? Under sa VP for higher education. Si Sir Fred. You need to ask your friend if you can borrow that account. I'm not sure if OSA has one also. And ano pa ba yung unit? College of Computer Studies, I think, also has one or two accounts also that can support a good number of participants. Pero for sa kasi sa faculty assembly, for staff assembly, usually ginagamit namin yung sa VP for higher education. So you can ask the Office of Sir Fred for that.
Okay, thank you, Sir Zero. According to Ma'am Janice daw po, may OSA Zoom account. So, we student leaders
Okay.
can borrow.
Oh,
So,
sa
yeah.
OSA na lang.
Opo. Thank you. Thank you po. So, alright, I think that's it para sa ating open forum. Maraming salamat po sa lahat na nag-participate. We are also very grateful to you po, Sir Zero, for sharing to us your knowledge and time for this ACP webinar. Surely everyone na part ng event na to ay may natutunan na valuable information na pwede naming ma-utilize in our future affairs, especially na we are still in the middle of the pandemic and most of our interactions are purely online pa rin. So, ngayon naman at this juncture, we have come to the end of the program. So to show our gratitude for our resource speaker for accepting our invitation, we now present the Certificate of Appreciation with a citation. The Office of Student Affairs, Ateneo de Naga University, presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Engineer Zero and Magallon in grateful recognition of his expertise and service as resource speaker in the alternative class program Text and Specs Technical Requirements for Online Learning held on October 14, 2021. Given this 14th day of October 2021 at the Ateneo de Naga University, City of Naga, Philippines. Signed by Mr. Rodolfo S. V. Bertus Jr., Director of Student Affairs, Ms. Janet B. Badong Badilla, Executive Director for Mission and Identity, Dr. Alfredo C. Fabay, Vice President for Higher Education, and Father Roberto E. N. Rivera of the Society of Jesus University President. Again, we thank you, Sir Zero, for this ACP session will not be possible without your presence. So, once again po, bigyan naman natin ng warm round of virtual applause ng ating honored resource speaker, Engineer Zero Magallon. Thank you po, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you very much,
much.
Tin, for the invite.
Yes po. Thank you. So, ulitin po, sir. So, ulitin po. So, yan. Before we end this activity, please be reminded to fill out the evaluation forms we flashed here and sent on the chat box. So, the certificate of attendance shall only be awarded to those who accomplish the evaluation forms. Make sure na correct ang information at ang spelling ng pangalan nyo. Otherwise, your certificate's name shall be misspelled. So, again, we are grateful for your participation and we hope na makita kayo ulit in the future ACP webinars and workshops. Also, we hope na nag-enjoy kayo in this webinar and actually gained insights and new learnings from it. Once again, I am Jackie Louwen Cestina and I am honored to have been your host. So this ends our webinar on Text and Specs Technical Requirements for Online Learning. Thank you for being with us, everyone, and please stay safe and healthy. May we all have a nice lunch. Sana masarap ang ulam niyo po. Goodbye. Bye, sir. Thank you so much, Sir Zero. Thank you for the participants. Thank you po. Hindi raw gumagana. Sige po, isasend na lang po namin ang mga URL nyo for the evaluation. Thank you. Have a nice lunch.
Recording stopped.
Thank you po.